Noise pollution. Noise, it refers to the sound that is perceived as disturbing, annoying, or harmful to individual or communities. It can lead to physiological effects such as increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, and stress. Psychologically, it can cause annoyance, sleep disturbances, reduced concentration, and overall decreased quality of life. The term noise originates from the Latin word nausea, which means seasickness or a sensation of discomfort and disgust. This reflects the unpleasant nature of noise as perceived by humans. Now, according to sound frequency, first is audible sound. Frequencies between 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz are considered audible to the human ear. This range covers the sounds which we can perceive in our daily lives. Infrasound frequencies below 20 Hz are called infrasound. While not audible, they can still be felt as vibrations and may cause physiological effects. Ultrasound frequencies above 20,000 Hz are termed ultrasound. Humans cannot hear ultrasound, but it is used in various technologies and medical applications. The unit of measurement, decibel, is the logarithmic unit which is used to measure the intensity or loudness of sound. A sound with a minimal audibility level is assigned 0 decibel, which corresponds to the threshold of ear hearing for the average human ear. And the maximum decibel level that a human ear can endure without risking damage is around 120 decibel. Prolonged exposure to sounds above this level can lead to hearing loss and other ear-related health issues. Standards and guidelines of ambient noise levels in India. Now, due to the increasing ambient noise levels in public places from various sources such as industrial activities, construction activities, generator set, loudspeakers, public address systems, and many more. So these all things have dangerous or negative effects on the human health and psychological well-being of the people. So Indian government has taken necessary provision to regulate and control noise producing and generating sources with the objective of maintaining the ambient air quality standards in respect of noise. In India, ambient noise levels are regulated and controlled under the Noise Pollution Rules 2000, which were established under the Environment Protection Act 1986. Now, these rules aim to manage and mitigate the negative effects of noise pollution on human health and well-being caused by various sources such as industrial activities, construction, generators, and others. So Noise Pollution Rules 2000, it provides the legal framework for regulating noise levels in the public spaces and private establishments. These rules empower authorities to specify permissible noise limits, designate silence zones, means areas where noise levels must be maintained below prescribed limits, and enforce various measures to control noise producing activities. Now you can see here from the image ambient noise standards. So daytime and nighttime limits, you can see the rules, they specify different permissible noise levels for daytime and nighttime periods, and for different zones also, different categories of areas like residential, commercial, and silent zones such as hospitals, educational institutions, courts. They have varying permissible noise levels to protect sensitive populations and maintain the quality of life. Noise levels are measured using standardized methods and equipment to ensure accuracy and consistency. Now, competent authorities, they regularly monitor noise levels in different zones to assess compliance with the prescribed standards and take enforcement actions as necessary. Sources or types of noise pollution. Noise can be broadly classified under four categories. transport noise, occupational or industrial noise, neighborhood noise, recreational noise. Transport noise. Transport noise mainly consists of traffic noise from road, rail, and aircraft. Road traffic noise is the most prevalent form of transport noise, and it originates from vehicles such as motorcycles, cars, bus, trucks, and other diesel-powered vehicles. The noise is produced by engine operation, tire-road interaction, aerodynamic effects, and vehicle horns. Aircraft noise is generated by aircraft during takeoff, landing, and while in flight. Jet engines and air turbulence around aircraft contribute to noise levels in surrounding areas, especially near airports and flight paths. Rail traffic noise is noise produced by trains and rail systems, including locomotives, rail cars, and the operation of railway infrastructure such as tracks and switches. Now, how it will impact the environment? Transport noise can degrade environmental quality, disrupt ecosystems, and disturb wildlife habitats, particularly in areas near transport corridors. Prolonged exposure to high levels of transport noise can lead to adverse health effects such as hearing impairment, sleep disturbances, stress, hypertension, and cardiovascular diseases. Noise from transport can reduce the quality of life in residential areas, affecting the residents' ability to rest, concentrate, and enjoy outdoor activities. In metropolitan areas, noise levels from road traffic often close to or louder than the allowed limits or exceed them, especially during peak traffic hours. Urban roads experience distinct traffic peaks in the morning and evening as commuters they travel to and fro from the work. These peaks contribute to variations in the noise levels throughout the day. Occupational or industrial noise. Now it refers to high intensity sound generated primarily by industrial machinery and processes within the workplaces. Now noise pollution in industrial settings is primarily caused by machinery such as compressors, generators, pumps, motors, and manufacturing equipment. Various industrial processes in factories, mills, and plants contribute to noise pollution, including metal processing, assembly lines, printing, and textile manufacturing. Noise from tools like pneumatic drills, mechanical saws, grinders, and power tools used in construction and manufacturing industries. Then noise from everyday domestic appliances like washing machine, vacuum cleaner, kitchen appliances can contribute to indoor noise levels, although these are not typically classified under occupational noise. Then occupational noise, it tends to be of high intensity, often exceeding safe exposure levels as defined by occupational health and safety regulations. Prolonged exposure to occupational noise can lead to various health problems among workers, including hearing loss, stress-related disorders, sleep disturbances, and reduced productivity. Industrial workers who are exposed to noise for 8 hours per day and 6 days per week suffer from occupational noise pollution. Neighborhood noise. Now it is also known as community noise. It refers to a variety of sources of noise that can disrupt and annoy the general public in residential areas, and the sources include household gadgets like vacuum cleaners, washing machines, washers, entertainment devices like TV, radios, stereos, musical instruments like pianos, guitars, drums, and various public functions like celebrations, parties, and public gatherings that involve amplified music, loudspeakers, or fireworks. So, what are the effects of this neighborhood noise? It can interfere with residents' comfort, rest, and daily activities, leading to annoyance, stress, and reduced quality of life. Chronic exposure to high levels of neighborhood noise can contribute to sleep disturbances, irritability, concentration difficulties, and even adverse health effects over time.
Excessive noise complaints can strain community relations and lead to legal disputes or interventions by local authorities to enforce noise regulations. Recreational noise. It refers to the noise which is generated during various leisure and recreational activities, which can be loud enough to cause hearing damage and disturb the peace of surrounding communities. Sources of recreational noise includes music concerts, events, fireworks, firecrackers, fitness and aerobic studios, personal stereo systems, children's toys, etc. So exposure to high levels of recreational noise can lead to permanent hearing loss or tinnitus, that is ringing in the ears. Loud recreational activities can disrupt the peace and quiet of residential areas, causing annoyance and sleep disturbances for nearby residents. Prolonged exposure to recreational noise can contribute to stress, fatigue, and other psychological impacts. What are the effects of noise pollution? Problems caused by noise pollution include stress-related illnesses, speech interference, hearing loss, sleep disruption, and lost productivity. The hazards are summarized here. Some of noise pollution will have auditory effects as well as non-auditory effects. So auditory effects includes auditory fatigue and deafness. Non-auditory effects includes annoyance, loss of working efficiency, interference in speech communication, physical disorder like increase in heartbeats, BP, etc. Noise pollution can have significant detrimental effects on both human and animal health. So it leads to the contraction of blood vessels. Prolonged exposure to loud noise can cause the body to react by constricting blood vessels. This physiological response is part of the body's stress reaction to noise, and it can contribute to hypertension and cardiovascular problems over time. Pale skin, sudden loud noises, or prolonged exposure to noise can trigger stress responses in the body, including changes in blood circulation that may lead to paleness of the skin. This reaction is associated with the body's fight or flight response to perceived threats. Mental distress, blaring or continuous loud sounds can cause significant mental distress and emotional discomfort. Noise pollution can disrupt concentration, sleep patterns, and overall mental well being. Chronic exposure to noise has been linked to stress, anxiety, and even depression in some individuals. Then, how it impacts on the health? Various cardiovascular effects have been seen. Studies have shown that long-term exposure to high levels of noise can increase the risk of heart attacks, stroke, and other cardiovascular diseases due to elevated stress hormones and disrupted sleep patterns. Neurological problems. Noise pollution has been associated with cognitive impairment, difficulty concentrating, and learning deficits, especially in children exposed during critical development stages. Birth defects and abortion. Some research also suggests that pregnant women exposed to high levels of noise may be at increased risk of complications such as preterm birth, low birth weight, and developmental issue in infants. It also affects wildlife and domestic animals. Loud noises can disrupt animal communication, feeding, reproduction, and migration patterns.
Exposure to high levels of noise can trigger changes in hormone levels in the bloodstream. This include an increase in stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, which can lead to physiological responses like increased heart rate, constriction of blood vessels, which can elevate blood pressure and strain the cardiovascular system, digestive spasms or disturbances affecting gastrointestinal functions, dilation of the pupils of the eye, a response which is associated with stress and the fight or flight reaction. Noise pollution has profound implications for health, work efficiency, and behavior. Chronic exposure to noise has been linked to cardiovascular diseases, including hypertension, heart attacks, and strokes. It can also affect other organs such as the brain, kidneys, and liver. In work environments, noise can reduce productivity, impair concentration and communication, and increase the risk of errors and accidents. Persistent noise exposure can lead to irritability, sleep disturbances, anxiety, depression, affecting overall mental well being and behavior. The most immediate and acute effect of noise pollution is hearing impairment. Exposure to very loud and sudden noises can cause physical damage to the eardrum and middle ear structures. Chronic exposure to high noise levels can damage the delicate hair cells in the inner ear responsible for converting sound vibrations into electrical signals. Prolonged exposure to certain frequency pattern of noise can lead to permanent, irreversible damage to the inner ear, resulting in hearing loss. Noise pollution, especially impulsive noise, means sudden sharp sounds, can contribute to psychological disorders as well. Individuals exposed to frequent impulsive noise may experience heightened stress, anxiety disorders, and other mental health issues. Now, ultrasonic sound waves, they can affect the various body systems, like first digestive system. Ultrasonic sound waves can disrupt the normal function of the digestive system, leading to symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite. Prolonged exposure may result in gastrointestinal disorders. Respiratory system. The respiratory system may be affected through stress responses, which can lead to changes in breathing patterns and increase or cause increase in conditions like asthma or bronchitis. Cardiovascular system. Exposure to ultrasonic sound can cause increased heart rate and blood pressure. Then semicircular canals of the internal ear. The semicircular canals are part of the inner ear responsible for balance. Ultrasonic sound waves can disrupt the fluid in these canals, causing dizziness, vertigo, and balance disorders. Brain and psychiatric effects of loud and sudden noise. Loud and sudden noises, such as those from the jets, airplanes, can cause significant stress and trauma to the brain. This can lead to headaches, migraines, and increased levels of anxiety and stress. Psychiatric illness. Chronic exposure to such noise can result in psychiatric conditions like anxiety disorders, depression, post traumatic stress disorder. It can also impair cognitive functions, including memory and concentration. Blood alterations take place due to excessive noise, like thickening of blood. Recent studies suggested that prolonged exposure to excessive noise can lead to increased blood thickness. This thickening of blood can increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases such as hypertension and stroke. Eosinophilia. Noise pollution may cause an increase in eosinophils, a type of white blood cell which can lead to allergic reactions and inflammatory conditions. Hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia. Noise-induced stress can affect the body's endocrine system, leading to imbalances in blood sugar levels. Hyperglycemia, high blood sugar, and hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, can occur due to these alterations. Then, how it affects the optical system. Impairment of night vision. Severe noise pollution can affect the visual system, leading to difficulties in seeing in low light conditions. This impairment in night vision can make activities like driving at night hazardous. Then it also results in decrease in the rate of control measures of noise pollution. So some measures which can be adopted in this direction are as follows. First is prescribing noise limits for vehicular traffic. Governments and local authorities can set and enforce noise limits for vehicles. ensuring that vehicle manufacturers comply with noise emission standards. This helps reduce overall traffic noise levels in urban and residential areas. Ban on honking in certain areas. Implementing bans on unnecessary honking in designated areas such as residential zones, hospitals, school zones helps maintain quieter environments and reduces the noise related stress and disturbance. Creation of silence zones near schools and hospitals. Designated silence zones around sensitive areas like schools, hospitals, and religious institutions restricts noise generating activities, promoting a quieter and more conducive environment for learning, patient recovery, and worship. Redesigning buildings to make them noise proof. Building codes can include requirements for noise insulation and soundproofing measures during construction and renovation projects. This helps minimize indoor exposure to external noise sources, enhancing occupant comfort and productivity. Reduction of traffic density in residential areas. Urban planning strategies should prioritize reducing traffic congestion and rerouting heavy traffic away from densely populated residential neighborhoods. This can significantly lower ambient noise levels and improve quality of life for residents. Promotion of mass public transport systems, encouraging the use of efficient and reliable mass transit options such as bus, trains reduces the reliance on individual vehicles, thereby lowering the overall traffic noise and environmental noise pollution. Minimum use of loudspeakers and amplifiers, especially near the silent zones. Regulating the use of loudspeakers, amplifiers, and public address systems in proximity to silent zones ensures that noise levels they remain within the permissible limits. This prevents the disturbances to nearby residents and sensitive institutions. Banning pressure horns in automobiles. Prohibiting the use of high intensity pressure horns in vehicles helps the helps to reduce excessive noise from vehicular traffic, promoting a quieter and safer road environment for pedestrian or other road users. Noise control procedures. Control procedures include suppression or isolation of noise at the source itself, transmission path intervention, or you can say path control. Then is the receptor control. So this is the place of noise generation, means the source from where noise will be generated, and this is the path through which noise will travel to the receiver, means the place where noise will be received. So first is suppression or isolation of noise at the source itself. So controlling noise pollution at the source is crucial for effectively reducing overall noise levels in various environments. Applying acoustic treatments to machine surfaces, such as adding sound absorbing materials or sound barriers, helps reduce noise emitted during the operation. Redesigning machinery and equipment to minimize vibration and noise generation can significantly lower the noise levels at the source. This may include using quieter components, improving insulation, or redesigning airflow paths to reduce turbulence noise. Restricting the operating hours of noisy equipment, particularly in residential or noise-sensitive areas, helps minimize noise exposure during periods when people are most affected, such as the nighttime. Then reducing noise from the domestic sectors. Noise from common household appliances like radios, televisions, mixers, washing machines, cooking operations can be minimized by their selective and judicious operations and by using of absorbing materials like installing carpets, curtains, or sound absorbing materials in homes can dampen the noise from activities such as dropping items or footsteps. Then maintenance of automobiles. Regular maintenance and tuning of vehicles are essential to reduce noise emissions from engines exhaust systems, and other mechanical components. Silencers. Ensuring vehicles are equipped with effective silencers helps attenuate exhaust noise, improving overall environmental noise levels, especially in the urban areas. Implementing these strategies requires a combination of technological advancements, regulatory measures, and public awareness. Prohibition on usage of loudspeakers. Urban administrations often restrict the use of loudspeakers in residential and sensitive areas, except for essential meetings or functions. This measure helps maintain quieter living environments, reduces disturbances to the residents, and protects public health. Governments enforce regulations that specify permissible noise levels and times for using loudspeakers to minimize community disturbances. This includes ensuring that noise from public events or gatherings is managed responsibly to mitigate its impact on the nearby people. Then, selection and maintenance of machinery. Choosing machinery equipment and tools that are designed with superior technology to produce less noise is critical. This involves selecting products that meet noise emission standards and conducting assessments to compare noise levels among different models before procurement. Then regular lubrication, inspection, and maintenance of machinery and vehicles are essential to prevent mechanical wear and reduce noise generation. Loose or worn out components can produce vibrations and noise, impacting both operational efficiency and noise levels. For example, it is a common experience that many parts of vehicle will become loose while on a rugged path of journey. If these loose parts are not properly fitted, they will generate noise and cause annoyance to the driver or passenger. Similar is the case of machines. So proper handling and regular maintenance is essential not only for noise control but also to improve the life of machine. Oiling, regular and proper lubrication of machinery and mechanical parts helps to reduce friction and mechanical noise. Well lubricated components operate more smoothly, resulting in lower noise emissions during the operation. Implementing scheduled maintenance routines that includes oiling ensures that machines and equipment continue to operate quietly and efficiently over their lifespan. This practice not only reduces the noise pollution but also enhances the longevity and reliability of the machinery. Tree plantation. Planting trees and shrubs along roads, around hospitals, educational institutions, and residential areas serves as a natural barrier that absorbs and deflects sound waves. Greenery can absorb high frequency sounds and reduce their propagation, thereby lowering ambient noise levels in urban and suburban environments. In addition to noise reduction, tree plantation enhances urban aesthetics, improves air quality, provides shade, and creates a more pleasant living environment for residents. Acoustic zoning. It involves planning and zoning regulations that separate noisy industrial areas, bus terminals, railway stations, and airports from residential and sensitive areas such as hospitals and schools. Designating silence zones near residential areas, educational institutions, and healthcare facilities ensures that noise levels remains within the acceptable limits to protect the well-being of residents, students, and patients. Transmission path intervention or path control. This includes containing the source of noise inside a sound insulating enclosures, means put the noisy equipment inside a box or enclosure which is made of sound insulating materials. Constructing a noise barrier or provision of sound absorbing materials along the path. In many cases, noise control at source is very difficult or quite uneconomic. In such cases, noise control is achieved in the path by enclosure of noise sources, Completely or partially enclosing noisy equipment within sound insulating enclosures helps contain the noise at its source. These enclosures are designed to absorb or reflect sound waves, preventing them from escaping into the surrounding environment. Enclosures effectively reduces noise levels by creating a physical barrier that traps and reduces the propagation of sound waves generated by machinery and equipment. Then anti-vibration measures, inserting damping materials between machine bases and foundations or using anti-vibration mountings helps absorb vibrations generated by the machinery. This reduces the transmission of mechanical vibrations that can amplify noise levels through building structures or soil. These measures not only reduce noise but also enhance equipment stability and longevity by minimizing the impact of vibrations on machine components and surrounding structures. Then sealing openings and gaps. Sound travels through gaps and openings around doors and windows. Sealing these gaps with sound absorbing materials or using double or triple pane windows filled with sound insulating gases helps minimize noise transmission. Constructing windows with 2 or 3 panes of glass can greatly improve sound insulation. The gaps between the panes can be filled with sound absorbing materials such as inert gases or special acoustic laminates. Receptor control. This includes shift scheduling, adjusting work hours or schedules to reduce exposure to noisy environments during peak noise periods can mitigate the impact of noise on workers. For instance, scheduling noisy tasks during off-peak hours or rotating workers to quieter areas can help minimize exposure. Then some personal protection devices can be used, providing personal protective equipment such as earplugs, noise cancelling headphones, or noise helmets to individuals working in noisy environments help reduce their exposure to high noise levels. These devices are designed to block out the noise, protecting the auditory system from harmful noise levels that could lead to hearing loss or other health issues. Dissipation and deflection methods. Installing sound absorbing screens or barriers between noise sources and individuals helps deflect and dissipate noise before it reaches the receiver. This reduces the direct exposure to high noise levels in workplaces or outdoor environments. Dissipation and deflection methods are particularly effective in open spaces or areas where direct enclosure or control of noise sources is challenging.